22, the team was using cast-off equipment that the Germans and Swiss had designed years before. So he and Bob Cuneo from Connecticut, Chassis Dynamics, Don Barker, that whole group, funded and designed new bobsleds for the U.S. team. And now that whole program's come to fruition. The 2 men women with a gold and the 4 men team with silver and bronze. And Jeff's got to be, I think he's happier about that than finishing 3rd in last week's Daytona 500.
I'm not sure about that, but maybe. I'll give you credit for that.
So he gets a bronze, they get a gold, a silver, and a bronze.
Yeah.
Pretty good 10 days.
Boy, that Jeff Green in that 30 car down in the middle of 3 and 4, he was able to get back to the throttle. The car took it. He made a big gain on Matt Kenseth right there. For the last 3 or 4 laps, they had ran about the same lap times, but boy, he made a big gain in 3 and 4.
3 and 4, your line 1 and 2.
Yeah, the 22 car off of turn 4 there, it just can't, the car's all beat up. He's been in the wall 2 or 3 times, and I think that Gordon ran up on him, and I don't know if they hit or not, but if they didn't, they came awfully close to each other.
Let's have a look here.
Here they
Was there
come.
contact? Yeah.
Yeah, there is.
And a second contact.
I guess Jeff is saying, hey, if you're going to get up here, old buddy, how about going on?
Up front, Jeff Green goes right after Matt Kenseth.
He's working the bottom of 3 and 4. Matt Kenseth just gets a little better bite off that corner coming off turn 4. Holds him down the front straightaway. Matt Kenseth goes back to the bottom here in 1 and 2. Jeff Green in the 30, back to the top.
These old boys have raced each other a little bit in the Busch Series, and so they know each other pretty well.
Look at the miles per hour there. Look at, I mean, it looks like they're on 2 different racetracks right there.
And they come off side by side. Go in, they get a big gap in between them, and side by side down the straightaway.
There you see it. Matt Kenseth's about 3 miles an hour faster than Jeff Green going down the front stretch. Let's see what happens going down the back stretch now. Coming off turn 2. Over 150 miles an hour.
Way all alone, and inside all by himself.
And Green took it in a little deeper and faster, as you see there, by 2 miles an hour, and completes the pass for the lead.
And that's where he's been better, is 3 and 4. The last 10 laps, that's where he's been better than Matt Kenseth.
He put the slide job on him. He got down there and he slid her right up in front of him, took his line away, and he's off to the races.
So Jeff Green is back in command at 202 laps. Just a little past halfway in the Subway 400. Matt Kenseth, Sterling Marlin, Ricky Rudd, and Ricky Craven are the front 5. Jeff Green leading by 0.8 of a second. He scooted away from Matt Kenseth. Sterling Marlin is 2 seconds off the pace. Ricky Rudd, highest running of our Koch family of drivers that also have Tony Stewart and Bobby Labonte in the top 10. And behind the wall, Michael Waltrip, Kyle Petty, and Dale Jarrett. Steve Park is at the track, continuing his recovery. Hope to see him back soon in a Winston Cup car. Jeff Green driving for Richard Childress, trying to become the 5th of Childress's drivers to win a Winston Cup race. Ricky Rudd, Kevin Harvick, Robbie Gordon each have 1 career win for Childress. Dale Earnhardt drove 67 cars to victory, carrying the number 3.
That's a good thing about having 3 cars, you know. One of them got to get up there and get after it. They can't all 3 be bad on the same day.
Let's have a look back for the 8th place car. Bobby Labonte got back on the lead lap when Dale Jarrett lost his engine. He and Kenny Wallace have been running in tandem these last dozen laps or so. Labonte currently 8th.
I'm just hoping there's nothing wrong with that car. They ain't gonna be mad at me. Matt, what do you know?
Well, Larry, I bet you were wondering about that 18 car, and Bobby Labonte is running some of his fastest laps of the day. He came on the radio about 15 to 20 laps ago and said, Jimmy, I apologize. The motor's not going bad. I think we've got maybe a cracked header. It has changed the pitch of the engine, much like Pocono last year where they had the same thing. So right now, he's just going to ride it out. I think now it's just a broken header. Failed.
And let me tell you, a driver, he drives by feel, by what he feels, and he drives by sound. You don't necessarily have to have a tack, but if anything goes on in that engine, it changes the sound. it puts that driver on alert, and it makes him real nervous until he figures out what it is.
Now the header is the first part of the exhaust pipe from the engine. If that cracks, how does it affect the motor?
Well, if it's right against the cylinder head, it can actually hurt the power. But if it's away from the cylinder head, it's an aggravation.
Yeah, the biggest thing is could put fumes in the car, could affect the driver. The other thing is, unless you was to turn the engine off and the engine cooled down and then it sucked cold air in through that cracked pipe, as long as this thing is running, it should be fine. It could hurt performance. It could hurt performance a little bit, but it should not have an effect on the durability of the engine.
All right, Sterling Marlin has passed Matt Kenseth and taken off by about half a second. It's as if Kenseth just moved right over and let Sterling by. Let's see.
He's coming down the front stretch right here. Sterling Marlin caught him in a hurry. They're there by themselves. Why race each other? Let's put some distance on the fourth place car.
That's smart. And let me tell you, the kind of year Kenseth had last year, I'm sure he's happy just to be up there in the first 2 or 3. Got a long way to go yet. Work on the car, keep your nose clean.
For more on the leader, here's Jeannie.
And the 30 car of Jeff Green just radioing into his crew chief saying, hey, that 40 car of Sterling Marlin, what line is he running anyway? I want to keep tabs on that. He can feel Sterling breathing down his neck.
He's picking up about a tenth a lap on Jeff Green, the leader. So he's right. He can feel him getting just a little bit closer, You know, we talked about Jeff Green's crew chief, Todd Berrier. That was actually Kevin Harvick's crew chief last year when they won the 2001 Busch Car National Championship. They formed the 30 team. Todd Berrier moved to that crew chief position.
Well, here's the interval.
Interval here.
Between Jeff Green and Sterling Marlin. And you see that interval closing.
Yeah.
And opening up just a bit, entering the corner.
But watch it close coming off. That's where Sterling is. He's up in that high line. He's got a lot of momentum up off the corner.
Really closes in 3 and 4, from the center of 3 and 4 onto the front straightaway.
The track has just got a lot of grip up high right there from the center off, particularly up in here off of turn 4. Not so much off of turn 2 up high, but off of turn 4, a lot more grip up there.
That time in 1 and 2 made some big gains in the same area. And I think I saw this yesterday in Sterling's car in practice, where his car was so strong, it's through the middle and accelerating onto the straightaway.
Gain a little in each corner, and pretty soon you're right there. Here's the tack on Sterling's car and speedometer.
And you just saw Green. He moved way up the hill. Then he's trying to emulate Sterling's lines, what he's trying to do, because he's running a little bit different line.
Sterling's chopped that advantage in half in 5 laps.
It's funny how those drivers, Larry, they see the leader or they see the guy they're chasing. If he could just have somebody like a rabbit, how much he can pick up.
But you and I both know here, you can only go as fast as your car will let you. You start overdriving it, you will not catch it.
Yeah, but you know, your focus changes. You see the guy leading the race, and all of a sudden the car's not, you don't think about your car. Just think about catching that guy. And that's that. And sometimes that makes the car, you don't even think about it.
Were you a better driver leading or chasing someone?
I like to be the pursuer. I love to slip up on him. Like, where'd he come from? I always love to Earnhardt look in the mirror and say, now how'd he get up here?
This pursuit right here, guys, it's just about over with. Sterling Marlin has caught Jeff Green at the end of the backstretch, headed into turn 3. Jeff Green been running that high line. Sterling going to stay with him here. Bring it down off the corner, back in the throttle. Jeff Green, the 30 car, wiggles a little bit right there.
That's just because he's trying to get back in the gas a little sooner than he probably has been to hold Sterling off, but that ain't going to happen.
Sterling Marlin beats him down in the corner, holds to the bottom, takes the lead on the back straightaway.
Hey, who's a lot more worried about Sterling than Jeff Green is Jeff Gordon. He's only about 4 seconds from going a lap down.
I don't know what happened to Jeff. He was running really well. He passed Ward Burton, and they had that little push and shove and match. Ward got back by him, and Jeff's just slowed down since then.
Well, he's been back there fighting these cars back here. That you see, I think that's Todd Bodine in the 66 car right there. He was behind him for a long time. Right there, boy, Todd Bodine in the 66. They have wore that backstretch wall out. They're going to have to recoat it after this race.
I think if I was the drivers, I'd go in and see if I couldn't get it moved back a little bit.
Ricky Rudd just shot past Matt Kenseth on the bottom. Steve?
Hey guys, Ricky Rudd has made over 730 Winston Cup starts, but he made his very first start here, his debut, in March of 1975. And to put that into perspective, 3 drivers in today's race weren't even born when Ricky made his first start. 3 more were born the same year.
Wow.
I got to give a call to Michael McSwain, Fatback, his crew chief. I mean, he was a lap down not that many laps ago, a little bit beyond what we thought he should do. They left him out there on those 10-lap tires. We talked about it. He got that track position, and now he's up there in 3rd position. Jeff Hammond, we still got a long way to go. We need to start thinking about how we're going to break these pit stops down between now and the end of the race. Well, I know you've been doing some calculating down there.
Yeah, Larry, I've been looking to try to get an idea about the guys need to stop at least 2 more times. And the way I'm looking at it, that pit window should fall around lap 253 for the leaders if they go about 70 laps on this run, which gives them another 70-lap run and get them like around lap 323 and then get them the rest of the way home. So this is a 393-lap race, 400 miles.
And there's no question that's the best formula you could use is see how many laps we had to go when we pitted the last time and see if we can break that down into equal runs.
Yeah, we really got to work on that because we've already seen tires are so critical here, but at the same time, getting in a lap or 2 early can be a big payoff on the other end, but if you stay out too long, you may lose too much ground to be able to make it up at the tail end of this race.
Well, guys, I'm with you, all right, but I tell you, I'd stay out on this run as long as I could so I'd have the least amount of laps on my tires at the end of the race. So I don't know, what's wrong with Jeff Gordon anyway, Doc, you know?
Well, in Jeff Gordon's up and down day right now, the car is simply loose. And he's going to need to make a pit stop to tighten it up a little bit so he can handle better than he is handling right now.
Well, that answers that question. He's loose.
The tough thing, though, for Gordon will be staying on the lead lap until he can make that stop. At lap 227, Sterling Marlin leads Jeff Green, Ricky Rudd, and Matt Kenseth in the Subway 400 on Fox.
The Subway 400 on Fox is brought to you by Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse. Lowe's, improving home improvement. By Pepsi Cola, experience the joy of Pepsi. By Enterprise Rent-A-Car, we'll pick you up. And by Miller Lite, grab a Miller Lite. It's Miller time.
All those notes on race strategy for pit stop. Throw them away. We're under caution for debris in turn 1, and here come the leaders. Jeannie.
Well, Jeff Green has some great concerns about how this car is running because he's pretty pleased. He said it's just a little bit free coming off the corner. So what they're going to do is, of course, give him 4 tires, but the 2 rear tires, they're going 1 pound down. That's it. Dick Berggren?
Matt Kenseth had slipped out of the lead. The problem, the car was loose coming off the corners. They have put the wrench in the back end, tightened it up. To Matt.
And Bobby Labonte enters pit road in 6th. They made a chassis adjustment to Steve.
Sterling Marlin on pit road. Left side tires coming off. Now going back on. No chassis adjustments to the 40. The 20 of Tony Stewart. 1 pound down to both rear tires. Spoke to the booth.
232 laps complete, 161 to go. What does that do to our pit strategy?
Well, we had to create some new. You threw our other strategy away. But what I'm saying, that's going to be about 160 laps. We already seen earlier where they went almost 90 laps on a set of tires. So I'm going to say 1 more stop. Should we be green the rest of the way? About 80 laps a run.
We're at that point in the race where there's going to be some action, I think.
More cautions.
More caution.
Cautions breed caution.
Breed caution. Then Pierre Debris threw away your strategy there, buddy.
Well, I'm used to my strategy being thrown away. You threw it away all the time on Hammond.
We're out of here.
Ricky Rudd, who was a lap down earlier in this race, is the leader. He brought Sterling Marlin to the green flag. Matt Kenseth, Tony Stewart, and Bobby Labonte. Jeff Green, Rusty and Kenny Wallace, Johnny Benson, and pole sitter Ricky Craven, the top 10.
If you're going to get down early. Then you got time to get back. You don't want to have an up and down day. You want to have a down and up day.